in bad weather. Now, it's unimaginable some of the things that happened, and I believe that the story goes that Larry Cunningham actually played to 7,000 people in the Galtymore, and you were actually one of the people who were turned away.
Turned away that night. It was the queues were just there were 4 deep along the Cricklewood Broadway. The Metropolitan Police were called. There was policemen with dogs to try and control the crowd because he thought there was going to be a riot. I mean, that to think about that in today's context of somebody who actually, and at that stage, I think Larry probably had, I think it was 1967, if I remember correctly, and Larry at that stage, had only just got into the Irish chart and was astonished himself when he spoke about it afterwards that he would actually have attracted that amount of people. But that was the drawing power of the show bands in those days, and it showed the importance that they had and how much benefit and how much enjoyment was got from their music.
Indeed. Now, many romances and friendships flourished. Although the venues were packed, there wasn't the distraction of, at that time, I suppose, the smartphones or anything like that. People actually talked to one another onto the glitter balls. And unlike today's noisy nightclubs, dance goers weren't competing with music. It was just going for the music and going for the dancing.
It was. Actually, right, I'm thinking back to when I went to those dance halls and those parochial halls around Kilkenny, and I actually cycled, and so it was not unusual for a whole clutch of people to be cycling along the road towards them and to be cycling away afterwards, and the one thing you were thinking about, the bicycles were sort of thrown together somewhere adjacent to the dance hall, and I always remember, the pedals would be intertwined almost lovingly with one another, sort of in a bit way you might be intertwined around the dance hall underneath that glitter ball. Yes, they were absolutely wonderful times, but you're absolutely right. You had an opportunity to speak into the shell of the ear of your dance partner, and it was remarkable.
Indeed, no, it's fascinating. Now, if you've got a story, contact details for both Dr. Joe Kearney and co-writer PJ Cunningham are on our website. Now, Joe can be reached at joe.kearney at aircom.net, or mobile number is 00353 87 263 3041. From the Candy Store to the Galtymore, it'll be available this autumn, published by Ballpoint Press. We'll give out details at the time. Meanwhile, Joe, it's what's the deadline for contributions, including good quality copies of photographs or whatever, if available?
Yes, that's a good point. If anybody has any photographs from the time, we'd be really delighted to see them. If they'd like to share them with us, we will promise to make contact with anybody that sends us a piece, and if anybody needs any help in relation to editing, we'd be happy to go along with that. We would like to receive our final contributions by the middle of this month. So we would have a deadline of, let me find, if we can think in terms of over the next fortnight, that would be perfect. If somebody could make contact with us, we'll be then in a position to place it into our collection if it meets the requirement. And again, we're looking for the pieces that are just the funny, the odd, the mad and the bad, the good, bad and the ugly, and hopefully it'll be the ugly ones that we'll get, because they're the ones that have the great interest in them.
Joe, listen, it's great to hear about this project, and I'm immensely looking forward to actually reading the book when it comes out. We look forward to seeing From the Candy Store to the Galtymore in print, and there'll be full details on it on our website, irishradio.org. Joe, listen, thank you very much for joining me. Appreciate it.
I really enjoyed speaking to you, Jerry, and to your listeners. Thank you very much indeed.